So did you guys have a test today or how's it? You had an exam?
Yes, sir.
All
Yes, sir.
Done. Can I get the hosting rights, please? Is the screen visible, friends?
Yes, sir. It is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Perfect. Am I visible? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Brilliant. All right. So we exactly have another minute and then we get started. We have a minute and start. All right. Audible? Visible? Yes, no?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Perfect. Good morning, everyone. Hope you guys are doing well. Most of you still counting on Earth. From where is this guy wishing good morning? I'm still in India. Don't worry. The whole point is to ensure that you guys are focused while we are discussing for the next 20 minutes. All right. So first thing, look at yourself and laugh out loud. You guys are genuinely looking as if you finished one mountain query and now you're coming to another huge mountain querying to be done. Can I see a little smile? However, the paper was good, bad. None of you can go and change. Why bother about it? All right. So we're going to do that. I insist you to keep your cameras on. I repeat, there's no point in doing all this now. We just have 20 minutes. Let's not waste time in all of this. So let's get started. Caps, R2R, refresh to relax. The entire 20 minutes that we're going to discuss is just to ensure that you guys are getting your basic points clear. All right. Not from the technical aspect, but from other non-technical aspects which have a bearing on your papers. All right. Which will have a small impact here and there on your papers. Am I audible? Yes? No?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
I think I was clear enough. Insist you to keep your cameras on. Let's get started. Important points. I call this as gentle reminders. Why? Because we've discussed this somewhere or the others. It's not something new altogether that I'm going to discuss. No, we might have come across these points earlier. Instead of glaring at screen, please listen to me first. We are going to look into it, each and every point in detail. Right now, I call this as gentle reminders because please note, we've discussed this earlier. These are important points. And I want to re-emphasize on each of these once again while we are preparing for our examination. All right. First thing. Question paper is going to be of two parts. All right. Your entire question paper. By the way, which paper?
Second paper, law and BCR.
Law.
Most of us still have confusion for what paper I'm going to write. God save us. All right. Others, please listen to us. Listen to me very carefully. Guys, your entire paper has two parts. One, going to be purely law, which includes what Rajdeep sir has discussed, a couple of topics that I have discussed. Second component is going to be your business correspondence and reporting, which is extremely critical. Your respective faculty is going to take you through in the session itself, in today's session itself. What we are going to do is spend 20 minutes and quickly look into a couple of important points. So the first thing is MCQs and descriptive. When it comes to law paper, which includes your Companies Act, LLP, and partnership, apart from whatever Rajdeep sir is handling, which is your Indian Contract Act and Sale of Goods Act. All right. So you will get questions, both MCQ as well as descriptive, from any of these 5 topics or all of the 5 topics. Don't go with the misconception that whatever Rajdeep sir has taught will be in MCQ or whatever Mehul sir has taught will be only a descriptive. No, nothing of that sort. It is going to be a combination of both. All right. So rather it will be inclusive of both MCQs as well as descriptive questions. Understanding everyone? Yes. So when it comes to MCQs, I strictly want you to follow one pattern. What do you have to do? Read the last sentence first. I'm not asking you not to read the question. I repeat, read the entire question. But how do you approach the question? Read the last sentence first and then read the entire question once again. Why? Sir, it will give you a flavor of the topic. What exactly is the question revolving around? Are they asking based on number of partners? Are they asking based on the type of company? Are they asking whether it is LLP, partnership, whatever it is? So you get the flavor of the question after reading the last sentence first. All right. So do this whenever it comes to MCQ. Second, sir, for descriptive, if it is a long descriptive question, follow the same approach. Last sentence first, then read the entire question. I repeat, I'm not asking you guys not to read something. I'm asking you how to read something. You are going to read the entire question twice. What I want you to do is, before you read the entire question, I want you to read the last sentence first and then read the entire question. Understood, everyone? Yes, Shrestha there in the session. Amog, Gaurav, take calculators. Sir, it's a law paper, English paper. Why calculators required? 1 + 1. I don't know what it is during those 3 hours. So I don't want to take chance. Ensure that you carry calculators. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Understanding? Maintain your speed. Extremely important. If you come out of the examination hall and say paper was lengthy, that means you were not maintaining your speed. The paper cannot be more than the one who set the question paper has to set it in such a way that it must get over within 3 hours. There is no possibility of you coming out and telling that I couldn't finish the paper because of the length or whatever it is. That means you weren't maintaining your speed. That means you weren't maintaining your speed. You will have to pick your speed right from the first minute. It cannot happen in the middle of the paper. It cannot happen in the last 1 hour. No. If you are doing this blunder, 100% there is a high chance of losing out marks. How? Because you will not be able to finish the paper and you end up telling paper was lengthy. No, paper cannot be lengthy. You will have to put in efforts to finish it. Now, how do you approach it? Sir, if it is, let's assume a question where they are asking you to write 4 marks answer. For 4 marks, write 6 sentences, 6 points and come back. All right. You don't have to sit and write the entire Companies Act of 2013 for a 4-mark question. I know most of us are laughing, but we end up doing this blunder. I hope you realize. All right. Time your answers. Know how much is to be written. Only then you'll be able to maintain speed right from beginning. Understanding, everyone? Yes. Next. Read the question twice, or rather read the question twice. Do not attempt to assume what the question could be. Very important. Small company is a company which is required to have a paid up capital of 4 crores. OPC, which is not even related to small company, might be the second part of the question. What blunder you will do? You will read the first sentence and assume that the question is small company. No, the question is on something else altogether. You don't assume that the question is on a particular topic until and unless you read it completely. The blunder that another classic example, Nidhi company. Let's assume the first word itself is Nidhi company. Looking at the word Nidhi itself, you started getting jitters. It might be a simple question. Are Nidhi companies companies? Are they company? The word itself is saying Nidhi company. You don't have to use your extra brains. So don't assume something is not important or something is important or something is tricky just based on 1 or 2 words. Read the entire question. It might be a simple question. It might be a simple answer where you just have to write 1 word, 2 words and done. Don't come to conclusion without reading the entire question. I hope I'm clear, everyone. All right. Next one. Write the question number in the middle of the page. Now, this we have discussed earlier also. There's nothing called left corner, right corner, and all of that. Sir, what are you talking? We are not able to understand. Listen to me very carefully. Is the screen visible? Is the screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Let's assume this is your answer script. All right. You are not going to write question number 1A, 1B, and all of that in the corners. No. This is your paper. You're going to write here question number 1A. Next question is going to be in next page. Question number 1B. Why? This makes everyone's life easier. Your life easier because let's assume you have last 2 minutes. At least ensure that you've written the question numbers properly. And it makes the evaluator's life easy because every question, every answer is in a new page and it is tagged in the top of the page itself, right in the middle. Please follow this pattern strictly for all the papers. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Why? It makes life easier. Next. Write in points. Sir, entire answer if you write in paragraphs. Imagine you had to read paragraph. Will you read? Answer is no. When you can't do something, how can you expect the other person to do so? Please write in points. Whatever may be the answer, whatever may be the question, in your study material, it might be in paragraphs. I don't care. You break it into points and write. Why? It becomes easier in evaluation. I hope I'm clear, everyone. And whenever you write a point, 2 things that you have to focus. 1, every point should have a subtopic. Example, small company, paid up capital becomes one subtopic. and turnover becomes a second point. All right. So every point must have one sub bulletin point, which is going to be the heading of that point. Underline the important words in that entire point. What is relevant? Now, the problem is don't underline the entire point and come back home. Entire point cannot be relevant. You will have to underline only the relevant words. Example, turnover 4 crores, a turnover 40 crores, paid up capital 4 crores. That's it. It makes everyone's life easier. The easier you make it for the evaluator to answer and correct your papers, it's going to help you indirectly. That's what I'm trying to say right now. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Understanding? Yes. Next point. Best foot forward. Sir, first 1 hour has to be only those answers which you know the best. Example, sir, 1A, 1B, 1C. There are 3 questions in one particular question. I know 1A, I know 1B. 1C, I don't know. We'll write it later. Leave 2 pages after 1A, 1B. Leave 2 pages, come back later and fill it up. First 1 hour, you write only those answers which you know the best. Why? Because it's going to give you the confidence that I have already sailed through the paper. The moment in first 1 hour itself, if you've written, let's assume 5 correct answers, and each of those answers are of 4 marks, you've already got enough confidence to write the next 2 hours. I hope I'm clear, everyone. This is going to help you in psychologically, it'll keep you calm and peaceful. I hope I'm making it clear. Everyone understanding? Yes. Next one. Sleep well. Do not compromise on sleep. I don't have to emphasize on this. I think I have myself narrated my own incident several times where I didn't sleep properly, ended up writing a question, entire paper only for 60-70 marks, came back, thought I might not clear. God's grace, the first 1.5 hours I had written enough to clear the paper. CA final examination. Don't do these mistakes. Learn from somebody. Learning from your own mistake is wise. Learning from somebody else's mistake is wiser. I insist you to please make a note of this. Don't compromise on your sleep. How much is good sleep, bad sleep? That I'll leave it to you. All right. You can't say 2 hours, 3 hours is enough. No, that is going to burn your entire efforts. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Understanding? Yes. Write a page with the pen which you intend to use. Please ensure that you scribble, you write down with 1 page, at least 1 page, whichever pen you're planning to use. You write down. It makes the flow easier. All right. Next, carry water bottle and please carry lemonade. If possible, ensure you carry water and lemonade. It'll keep you calm. It'll keep you composed during the examination. There are papers which might not be in our control. In that case, you need to be calm. You will be able to sort it out. Don't worry about it. All right. Next, dispose the question paper immediately after exam. Sir, today's paper, good. Congratulations. Bad. Still congratulations, because you can't go now and change anything. The only thing which you can do is tear the question paper, immediately say Jai Mata Di, jo hoga so hoga. That is not in your control. Nothing can be changed now. Tear the question paper, makes everyone's life easier. Biggest blunder, which most of you might have done today. Came back home and checked if you've got that 40 mark or not. If you did, you are the biggest fool. Because time and again during our own sessions, we made it clear, please don't do this mistake. Sir, you've done the mistake today. It's okay. Going forward, at least you don't repeat it. Ensure you tear the question paper immediately after the examination hall itself, then and there, and dispose it. Sir, Saraswati Ma might not feel good. Sir, there are better things to think about. If you are calm and composed during the next 3 papers, automatically every god is going to be happy to ensure that they give you what you want. I hope I'm making sense. I know it might be something very funny. Each one of us might be taking it on a very lighter note. No. Those of you who come back home and compared your answers, and just in case if you've not got that 40 mark, you are already in a zone of tension. Don't do this blunder. You can't change it now. You've written how much ever you could, and that's the best thing that you could have done. What is the point of thinking about it now? You can't change it. Rather pay attention, pay extra focus, and get the distinction mark in the next paper. As simple as that. As simple as that. I hope I'm clear, everyone. For those of you who are already in tension, attitude matters. Goes unsaid, guys. However good or bad the paper is, we all love MS Dhoni for a reason. Why? Sir, however the tricky situation might be, he is going to be absolutely calm. Why don't we pick it up during those 4 days at least? The next 4 or 5 days when we have to write these 4 or 5 papers, let's become MS Dhoni only to the extent of keeping ourselves calm. Don't play cricket in the examination hall. What I mean to say is, keep yourselves calm. I hope I'm clear, everyone. All right. Next. Read questions carefully. Goes unsaid. Please read it twice. Don't panic. Let's assume there's a topic which you don't know at all. You haven't come across at all. Attempt that later, not now. In the last 1 hour, last 40 minutes when you have, think peacefully. You will get your answers. As long as you put in honest efforts, somewhere you'll be able to get your answers. Maybe not absolute, but somewhere at least you'll be able to connect and write something. I've seen several times. I've seen several times. Peacefully, when I think, I end up getting the right answer than thinking in panic. Don't panic if you don't know a particular question. All right. There might be a possibility that in the entire 100 marks, you just know 30 marks. It's okay. Next 10 marks, 30 marks, I know. 10 marks, I have to push myself to get the clearing mark. I will put the extra effort and get another 20 to get distinction. How all this is possible? Just by staying calm. Possible, 100% possible. All right. Next. Don't assume that you will not know the answer before reading the question. Most of us have this problem. The moment, let's assume, example, Nidhi company, dormant company. The moment I heard this word dormant company, suddenly jitters in the body. I don't know what this topic is itself and assumed I'm not going to write. It might be a chiller question. Read it once. You will be able to answer. Read it once. You will be able to answer. Just need to be calm. Anjali, there, understanding? Yes? No
Yes,
wrong
sir.
section. You don't know the section number. It's okay. Example, sir, I don't know the subsection number. I know the section. Section 2, clause 85, define small company. I know section 2 defines small company. I don't know which subclause it is. Don't write the clause. You don't know the section number also. Write the act name. You don't know the act name also. Write as per provision of law. As simple as that. Don't write wrong section numbers and come back home. Example, small company definition, but written the section number of subsidiary. That shows you're a fool because you don't know how to think about alphabetically. Every section, every alphabetical order, we have mentioned the section numbers. I hope you remember our discussion. Anyway, next, time for 4 marks and 2 marks cannot be same. Again, something that I've already mentioned. Sir, how can you give the time for 4 marker and 2 marker to be the same? 4 marks, not more than 7 minutes. Not more than 7 minutes. When it comes to a 2 marker, you cannot give more than 3 minutes, 4 minutes. Time your answers. For a 2 marker also, if you're giving 7 minutes, for a 4 marker also, if you're giving 7 minutes, ending up, you will make one statement, sir, I was not able to finish the paper. That is your foolishness. That is your foolishness. Understanding, everyone? Yes. Next, try different presentation formats, tables, charts, and underlining. Something that we've always been using. See in case if you can present it better. Ensure that you write in points. Ensure that you underline the points. Understood, everyone? Yes. Now, start with the pattern, manner of writing the section. How do you go about? As per section 2, subsection, section 2, clause 85 of the Companies Act of 2013. You have to write it entirely. If you just write section 2, clause 85 and come back home, which act, sir? Section of which act? Until and unless you give the entire act name, how will I know which act is it pertaining to? Biggest blunder. Again, most of us just write section number and think that we have written answer. No, you have not written which act it is pertaining to, which section of which act. Give the entire reference. Section 2, clause 85 of the Companies Act of 2013 defines the word small company, which is as under, and give your answer. Understanding, everyone? Clear? Yes. Next one. A few other laws, important, not to be forgotten. Goes unsaid. Whatever Azib sir has done, extremely important. Please do not forget. Don't miss out on that. All right. Next one. Few case laws, keep it handy. Very few case laws. Example, Solomon versus Solomon. If you remember, there are a few case laws. When we saw your entire corporate wheel being lifted, there were 5 different buckets and each bucket had a case law. Just ensure you have few of those case laws listed in a piece of paper. 1 hour or 2 hours before the examination, if you get a chance, just flip through. It'll save a lot of efforts, at the same time important as well. So it'll give you those brownie points. Language. You are not going to use language like says, tells, and all of this. Companies Act says. Is it your aunt? Is it your uncle? Is it your father? Is it your mother? How on earth can it say? Don't personify something which does not exist. The language that we use is states, provides. Only 2 words. Of course, there are many more, but I don't want you to get into the details of others. States, provides. Don't use language like says, tells, told, whom, sir. What are you talking about? Don't use this language. Everyone, understanding? Yes. Saving our extra points. What we are discussing right now, I'm not talking about law. I'm talking about how to write law. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Understanding? Next. Answer first question, best question, something that I've already given. Fresh page per question policy. What is this? Every answer has to be in a fresh page. 1A, 1 page. 1B, next page. 1C, next page. Sir, save environment, not now. Later. Do it later on when there are CAPS projects, you be a part of it. Right now, don't do all that. Why? Because it is going to create trouble for the evaluator. You will write something in between and I will not be able to track it, where you've written, what you've written. I don't want the charts. I hope I'm clear. Fresh page per answer. Crystal clear? Yes. Now, sir, I know 1A, 1B. I don't know 1C. Can I write it in the last? You write the answer later on, but please leave page here only. You don't write 1C somewhere else where I have to sit and search. I hope I'm clear. 1A, 1B, 1C, I don't know. Leave page. Come back later and write it here. But don't write it in some other page, some other booklet and all of that. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Understood? Yes. Now, technical discussion. 100% focus. Now, whatever we are going to discuss, we exactly have 5 minutes. Pay attention. What we are going to emphasize now is all those extra important points while you are preparing for your examination, where all you have to focus while you are preparing. Now, please note, these are extra focus points. That means while you are preparing, read everything else, but pay extra attention while you're reading this as well. I hope I'm clear, everyone. All right. So what are those topics? Let's quickly see. The first one, when it comes to your Companies Act, all right, entire discussion on applicability of act. To whom is it applicable? How is it applicable? In case if there is inconsistency, what to do? All of that. Again, each one of you are the best ones to answer this because we've learned it in that way. I am confident that you will be able to answer questions here. Characteristics of a company. What are the various characteristics? Perpetual succession, men may come, men may go, and a couple of other things that we have discussed. All right. Doctrine of lifting of corporate veil. 5 buckets where the corporate veil can be lifted. Again, extremely important topic. Companies, types of companies, OPC, private company, public company. When is it a private one? When is it a public company? What is the limit for 200? All of those things. All right. Important. Next, OPC, extremely important topic. Ensure that you spend extra efforts and time while preparing on what is OPC. There, last year there in the session, various doctrines, ultra-wise, constructive notice, indoor management, extremely important point. Indoor management is also called Turkmen's. All right. So these are extra focus points while you're preparing for your examination. Other points, are they important? Yes, they are. Read those. But while you're preparing, if you're reading those topics twice, ensure that you read these topics thrice. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Understood? Yes. Coming to Indian partnership, extremely important topic. 100% focus on this. Definitions, extremely important. Who is a partner? What is a partnership? What is that relationship? All that we have made blunders while preparing, if you learn. All right. So ensure that you don't do those mistakes. Definitions important. Rights of a partner. What is a partnership property? Very, very important. What is a partnership property? Personal profits earned by the partners. In case if you're carrying on a competing business, if you've earned any personal profits, you'll have to share it with the partners. How you have to go about something which is covered here. Roshel. Agency characteristic of a partner. They are mutual agents of each other and the partnership. So this is something that you will have to remember. Rights and liabilities of a minor partner. Even now, if you talk, even now, if we say minor partner, I will definitely give you wax after the session. All right. There's no concept called as minor partner. Minor being admitted to the benefits of partnership. I hope I'm clear, everyone. All right. Important. Pay focus. Pay attention. Rights and liabilities of a minor. Expulsion of a partner. When a partner can be thrown. Again, story that we have learned. Party, your wife, my wife. All of those had met. All right. Something that we had discussed. Next. Partnership consequences if we don't register the partnership. What will happen if you don't register itself? You can't file a case against him. You can't file if it is more than 100. Set off and a couple of things that we discussed. Yes. So these are important points when it comes to Indian Partnership Act. I repeat, these are extra focus points. That means others you will have to read, but while you're reading others, these things have to be paid extra attention. LLP, characteristics of LLP, partners and their relation, liability of LLP partners in an LLP, very important. Who is a designated partner? What is the difference between LLP and company, LLP and partnership? Now, pay attention. Extra focus required. Extra focus required on these topics. Pay attention here on screen, everyone. Your amendment material, RTP, your recent RTP of June 2023 has multiple amendments on LLP and companies. Pay 200% focus on those amendments. I am expecting questions from there. Where? When it comes to LLP, pay extra focus on small LLP as a concept. Changes in designated partner, instead of 182 days, now it is 120 days and a couple of things. All right. Insertion of accounting standards. Earlier, there were no mandatory accounting standards to be followed by LLP. Now it is mandatory. All right. So all these are there in your material itself, in your RTP. Ensure that you pay extra attention while you're preparing. All the amendments on Companies Act. All right. There's a change in the small company definition. Instead of 2 crores, 20 crores, now it has become 4 crores, 40 crores. And a couple of small changes are there in your amendment material. Ensure that you are very, very, very comfortable with each and every point which is there. And you are sure about each and every point in the RTP material wherein there are amendments. I hope I'm clear, everyone. All right. With this, I come to an end of my topic. All right. I think the next faculty might also be here. All right. Anyway, so just in short, 2-3 quick pointers. One, it's just another examination. You've been writing exams since your childhood. All right. This is no extraordinary. Stop giving extraordinary importance. The calmer you are, the better it is. You've been writing exams. How can you be scared of exams? Just another paper. Attempt the paper this way. Second thing, however bad the paper is, trust your efforts. Trust the fact that we've learned the topics together. You will be able to solve it. You will be able to clear it. Just trust your efforts. Third thing, ensure whatever is the situation, come out with a smile and tear the question paper immediately. I don't care if anyone has any contradictory view on this. I don't care about that, with due respect, because I want to ensure that my next paper is not ruined because of this. As simple as that. There's no disrespect to anyone else, nothing else. It is just to ensure that my next paper isn't ruined because of this. As simple as that. With this, I am confident that each one of you are going to come out with flying colors, with a bright smile, as long as you put in efforts. So just trust that, and I will sign off. Thank you so much. Good night, friends. All the best.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
The next faculty is already here.
Yes, sir.
All right, done. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Good
sir.
evening,
Start in
sir.
30 seconds. Be ready with your materials. Rashmi, are you there? Check. Check. Is it audible? Am I
Yes,
audible?
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Rashmi, are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Can you give host access to Karthik Hebbar, the participant?
Sure, sir. Sure. 1 second. Give it, sir.
No. Okay. Good evening, all of you.
Good
Both
evening,
you are
sir.
audible.
sir.
Are you answering? How is your accounts paper?
Reasonably good, sir.
Reasonably good, sir.
Reasonably good. Reasonably good.
How much will you score? If you tell me the answer for this, I'll come searching for you now. Yes. If you have calculated how much you would score, I will come searching for you before your next exam. Right? As
ಯಾವ
Mehul sir
ಪೇಪರ್
rightly said,
ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ
Huh?
ಯಾವ ಪೇಪರ್ ಬರ್ದಿದೀವಿ ಅಂತ ನೆನಪೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಡಿ.
correct. That should be the spirit. Once you are done with the exam in ಹೊರಗೆ ಬಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ you should forget about that. You pass or fail ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ you should not even think. Because once you start thinking, okay, am I scoring well or not scoring well, that is your end. I have many instances. I told you in I told you in my regular class as well, right? My friend wrote the accounts exam in foundation. He thought he'll never clear first exam. My cousin also did the same thing. She wrote accounts. She thought she will not clear. She wanted to write law. She came and told me, I'll not pass accounts. It didn't go on well. What do I do? I said, who asked you to check if you would pass or fail? Just go and write the law exam. She didn't write. She cried. All that drama happened in her house. She eventually did not write. But when the results were out, she got 43. And my other friend had got around 49. So you will never know if you would pass or fail, right? Because we think it is wrong, we think it is right. Never start judging your paper. Because once that mental block is in your mind saying that, okay, I may score more or I may score less, you will be either overconfident or underconfident. Let us say you're thinking that you will score 70, 80 plus in accounts. And then you will say, law, if I get 40, 50 also, it's okay as long as I pass. What if you get less in accounts then? You are stuck with 40 and 50 in law and you can't get the aggregate, right? So never focus on the exam paper once you are done. Once you are done with the exam, you are done. You should not even look at it. Yes, focus on the next exam. That's why we have the R2R classes after your exam. Once you are done with the exam, come back, forget. We are not discussing accounts, are we? We are discussing law BCR, which is scheduled for day after tomorrow. Once you are done with accounts, move on. BCR. Now we'll tell you what to do in BCR. Tonight and tomorrow you will study. Day after tomorrow you'll write the exam. Once you come back from BCR, law BCR, you'll forget BCR and law. You will look at the next exam. That should be your attitude. Never start counting your marks. Even now, even after the exam, never do it, right? Because I'm not at home, I'm away from home, I am logging in through the phone for video and my relative's computer for screen sharing. So please bear with me if I look here and there. Let me share the screen. But this time what I will do is, you already have a full-fledged course. Many of you are attending for the second time as well, right? I will not bore you with the same things again and again, what you already know. Let us focus on what is actually important for you for your exam, from the exam's perspective, right? Now, I heard Mehul sir towards the end, he gave a lot of inputs, which are absolutely right. So I will not repeat the same inputs, but I will tell you some points of my own, which will really help you from your exam perspective. Now, two things to note here. One, as we discussed, it is law and BCR. So when we say we are writing law and BCR, what will you start with? Start with whichever subject is comfortable. As you know, there will be two papers. Law, one paper for law, one paper for BCR. For silliest mistake, matra madak hogbidi, write law in law, BCR in BCR. Right? Many of my friends, we had IT and SM in intermediate. In IT paper, they wrote SM paper, they wrote IT. And towards the end, when they realized, they started writing again. They could not clear the exam. These silly issues people will do. So be very careful with this. Focus on what you are good at. If you are very good at English or BCR correspondence related topics, you think you can score very well there, start with that. Or if you think I'll get rid of law, I'll finish law first, start with law. But whatever you start with, don't go beyond 1 hour. 1 hour or max 1 hour, 15 minutes. Yes, your focus should be to end it in 1 hour or 1 hour, 15 minutes. I'm not saying stop the paper. Once you are done with, say, law for first 1 hour, move on to BCR next for the next hour. Yes, because what may happen is, I told you in the last class as well, when we met at last Cap Sabha, one girl who wrote the exam previously came and told me, I spent around 1 hour 45 minutes BCR and I could not finish. She told she finished 1 hour law in 1 hour 45 minutes. And she didn't have time to finish the BCR paper, and wherein she could have written one letter or I don't know, some topic very easily. 5 marks. After 2 questions of 10 marks, she didn't write only. She didn't attempt only. See, if you didn't know and if you skip, it's one thing. But when you know and you could not write, that will hurt you. and it will have an impact on your next exam as well. So be very careful with that. So law 1R or BCR 1R. First 1R, focus on the best answers possible. If you are confused as to what is the answer or you think it will take more time, don't start with that. Because I've seen people say first impression is the best impression. No? They say start with the best answer possible. But while writing the best answer, you will take 1 to 1.5 hours. I've seen that in accounts as well. They will start with a nice 16-mark questions, take 1 to 1.5 hours and say, thank God I got 16 or 16 or 20 on 20. What is the use? 1 to 1.5 hours you wasted on 20 marks. Balance, you won't have time to finish the paper. So I'm repeating once again, I'm not saying because I'm a BCR faculty, start with BCR. Whatever you're starting with, law or BCR, start and finish it in 1 hour. Next 1 hour, read the other paper. And whatever balance time you have, you can shuffle around. Whatever is pending from other papers, you write it across. Because what you know should be on paper first. That is, no one will bother, no one will care, right? So whatever you know should be on paper first. So make sure you write your best answers first and then leave the confusing answers towards the end. In case you don't have time to finish, okay, whatever, out of 10, you would have got 1 or 2, which is okay. That is better compared to leaving a question where you could have scored 8 or 9 out of 10. Yes. So focus on the best answers first, then move on. So what I will do now is, in the screen which I will share, I will not discuss everything in depth. I will only ask you to focus on what is relevant for you. Yes, I hope the screen is visible.
Yes.
These are the 4 broad categories of chapters at BCR, right? First, we have format-based chapters, where we have formal letters, official communication, email writing, resume writing, meetings. Then we have concept-based chapters and creative-based chapters and summary-based chapters. Now, as soon as this class is done, while your law class is continuing, Rajdeep sir's class will continue, I will share this presentation with you once again. If you have it, very good. If you don't have, just go through this once again, right? I will not go through this PPT in detail. I will only look at these headings here on screen. I will ask, we'll discuss that. What is important? What should you focus on here, right? Because that is what you should do. Now it's time for you to recollect whatever you have learned, not learn once again something. If you try to learn something new now, it will be like a mixture in your head. You will forget, right? So focus on individual points. And the reason I'm sharing the screen is you should now see where you are strong at. What is your strong points and where should you focus on? 2 points I will cover in this screen. If you can see here, format based early, as we discussed, as we know, we have a set format. For example, formal letters. We know how what the format of letter is. We have official communication, memos and circulars. We know the format and what is memo, what is circular. Email writing, resume writing, meetings. We know this. So if you think you are good at by-hearting formats or memorizing formats, you only have to work on the content. This should be your focus on. Yes, because formats will anyways get some 1 or 2 marks. If you think you can fill in the blanks easily, then don't stress too much on this because you anyways will get some marks. I have seen many people who may struggle to write articles or letters or reports. You will struggle to write big paragraphs, but you are very good at grammar. Where will you focus on? Will you focus on grammar once again where you're good at, or will you focus on, say, writing which you're lacking? Focus on the latter. This you anyways know. Quickly revise. Don't give equal time to both. Whatever you know, quickly summarize, brush up the skills, move on to whatever is confusing. I'll try to score marks. Yes. So in format based, formal letters, we have 7 types here. We have discussed different types of letters, and whatever is required in each type, focus more on that. The main structure skeleton remains same. Depending on what type of letter you're writing, the content will change. Memos and circulars, again, either they will ask a memo or a circular, and we know what a memo and circular is. Formatally write it. Email writing, we have seen in detail from to CC, BCC, then comes subject, then body, then the actual content. And for email writing and article writing or letter writing, when it comes to the body, it is fixed. Introduction, body, conclusion. As we discussed, never dive to the topic directly. If you're writing a mail or a letter, first tell why are you writing this letter. Or if there is any reference to any previous letters, tell them this is with reference to this. So always give reference, always tell why are you writing this letter. Never jump to the body and content directly. Start with an intro, give a heads up, then move on to the actual body, then have a conclusion. And in conclusion, what will you include? What happens next? right? If you're writing a letter, what is the next step? Who will do what? What should I do? What will you do? Why are you writing this letter and what is the conclusion of that letter? You should summarize it well. These are format-based chapters. Next, we have concept-based chapters. This is where you will score the highest marks. You can't skip these chapters because in each question, in one of the sub questions, you will have this. Yes, so don't even think of skipping this particular part. So communication we saw, either they will ask you questions from barriers or effective communication, they will ask you, or they will even ask you something like network or star communication. What does that expand? So be very careful, write with the help of a diagram as well. We have discussed in depth. When it comes to communication, very easy, theoretical, write in your whatever is given in the book plus the diagram. Diagram is a must. Comprehension, we saw the steps to approach. What will we do? First, read the passage once with an open mind, you will get the theme. Then look at the questions. And now when you look at the questions, what will happen? You now know where it is in the comprehension and you know what exactly they're asking. Then reread the passage once again, you will get all the answers. But the problem is if you start with the second question, start with the second step, which is reading the questions first, then looking at the paragraph. When you read the paragraph, you will be question oriented. You know the questions now. First question, second question, When you read the passage, you will be question oriented. You may miss the bigger picture. This is what happened in your mock test, right? Remember, I think mock test, there was a passage on depression. And when we evaluated, many of you scored only half mark there in the fifth question because you missed the point. Overall, family support is important. You missed it. You will lose half mark there. So be very careful. Read the passage with an open mind. Understand like a story. Then go through the questions. Then come back, reread. You will get all the answers. And you know how to approach vocabulary also now. We discuss synonyms, antonyms, idioms, phrases. Yes, we discuss some tricks as well. Try to break the word up into pieces. Try to get the meaning. Understand the root of the word. Or if you have idioms, understand the literal meaning first. Black sheep, we discussed. What is the literal meaning of black sheep? Can sheep be black? No, there are 100 white sheep. There is one black sheep. When you think of the literal meaning, then the answer will automatically come to your mind. When 100 sheep are white, 101st sheep is black. What does that mean? He is different or he is odd one out. This is how you approach it. Yes. Then direct and indirect speech. What did we discuss here? Both direct, indirect, and active passive voice. What should we do? If direct speech is given, if they ask you to write indirect speech, you first write the indirect speech answer. And after you write, as a method of cross-checking, reconvert the indirect speech to direct speech and check if you'll get the question, whatever is written in the question. Yes, same thing with active passive voice. Active voice is given. You first convert to passive voice. And once you are done converting, the answer, reconvert back to active voice and see if whatever you write will match with the question or no. Don't write this in the answer paper. Write this in the working sheet and check. And if it matches with the question given, very good. And in direct, indirect speech, you may make some mistakes. Be very careful as to who said to whom. We discuss this example, right? Rama told Sita that I love you. So who loves whom? Rama loves Sita. So yaru yarige helidru. Who told whom is very important. Understand the context. If you tell Rama told Sita that I love you, the meaning will completely change. So be very careful. This is where you will make silly mistakes. In this direct, indirect speech, who told this to whom? And what else did we see in direct, indirect speech? If the point said, Mr. X said, I am going there. Because he said Mr. X said is in past tense, the entire quote will be converted to past tense now. Unless it is a universal fact. Honesty is the best policy. You say, we discuss this example, right? Shetty sir says, or Shetty sir said, honesty is the best policy. What will your answer be? Shetty sir said, honesty was the best policy? No, it's still continuing to exist. So if it's universal fact or if it's continuing to exist, don't convert to past tense and say honesty was. Right? This is what we should focus on in direct, indirect speech. So if you think you can write, you can talk, you can write, that writing is not an issue, but grammar is an issue, focus more on this. You will get very good marks here. If you're very good at this, grammar, but you are not good at articulating things or writing, you will focus on creative or content writing part, which is the next part. You will have a 5-mark question on articles or reports. What's the main difference between article and report? Usually article is a write-up on a topic. Again, the format will be same, introduction, body, conclusion with a title. But reports are usually a write-up on whatever has happened earlier. Right? A report on your fest, or report on your say some trip. When you're writing something, it's usually a reference to an event which has already happened. But article is a general article which you'll write on a specific topic. Content, when it comes to the content, stick on to introduction, body, conclusion, as discussed for email writing, letter writing, and article and report writing. I'm repeating again. If you think you're very good at grammar, but you don't have the writing skills, focus more on this. 5 marks easily you can get. If you think writing I can write, but I'm not so good at grammar, I'm little confused in direct, indirect speech or synonyms, antonyms, or idioms, rush through creative writing part quickly, come back to conceptual chapters. Your resume, your vocabulary based chapters, synonyms, antonyms, idioms, direct, indirect speech. So wherever you're lacking, dedicate that extra bit there. Yes. The last part is summarizing. Summarizing is where they will check your summary skills. That is, paragraph will already be given there. They will check you how well you can retain the good points, how well you can reject the bad points. Right? How did we approach this particular question? If it's a summary writing or précis writing or note making. If it's summary writing, what's the difference between summary and précis? Quickly, who will tell me? Anyone? Who will tell me? Go on, Sai Tejaswini.
So précis is like whatever is given 1/3 if we write, that is précis, whereas summary, the whole content we must write in few words.
Yes. Where will you use our own words, in précis or summary?
In précis, in summary writing, sir.
So be very careful. When it comes to précis writing, it is 1/3 or 25%?
1/3, sir.
1/3. And summary writing, usually they say 25%, right?
Yes.
Don't change the meaning or the emotion given in the question. You're only rephrasing that in précis. And here, what is the trick we learned? When you say 1/3, if there are 100 words given in the question, we will not start writing. We know we have to use 33 words. Don't start writing and start counting. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You will lose valuable time here. We discussed this in depth. I will not repeat this once again. What you should do, I hope all of you have done it. I've made you do it. In case you have not done this, what you should do now is, as soon as this class is done, first write in a piece of paper 1 line in your book, how long it will be. You've done this exercise. I think anyone who has not done it, most of you have done it. I've made you do it. Right? This is how you will save time. Because if you look at the question and questionally, if there is a passage of 7 lines, now you know questionally 7 lines andre in your book how many lines. Adanna 1/3 madidre in your book or in your paper ಎಷ್ಟು lines barutte. You will get a fair idea. Plus or minus 5 words, okay. Right? But don't sit and count there. That is very wrong. And once you start writing, before you start writing, if it comes to say 10 lines in your answer paper, from first line beginning you make a mark, 10th line end you make a mark. Reason being, you can finish well within the 10th line. When you approach the 7th line, you will now know that there are only 3 more lines to go. Or else when you start writing 10 lines, then you will say I have 3 more lines to write. You can't. If you exceed, they will not give you marks. So be very careful with this. Note making, we saw linear and non-linear. Linear, follow the structure. Indentation is very important. Abbreviations to be used. Non-linear, no format. So you can use a tree, flow chart, but information will be conveyed very well here. Focus on the advantages and disadvantages also. They may ask you a question on note making, linear or non-linear, or advantages of either. Advantages, disadvantages of either. Right? So be very careful with this. Now, this is what I had to discuss in general. We already discussed this in depth in R2C as well as in a regular class. But as a quick revision, what you should focus on each chapter is what we discussed today. Any doubts in any chapter specifically? If you want me to cover in quickly, I think Rajiv sir is waiting to take the class next. In case you want to quickly brush up anything or any doubts if you have. Anything?
Sir, should we make
Go on.
Sir, should we make any changes in the format or make lines for it?
Lines as in where?
We draw a box and then we start writing or draw a format letter. Is it required for presentation?
See, any chapter, be it any chapter in foundation, my suggestion to you is first focus on the content. Yes, always focus on the content first. But your content is incomplete without proper presentation. Yes, imagine I gave this example, I don't know if in class or R2C. You're writing your accounts paper, right? You will first draw lines. You will make beautiful presentations, write the formats, debit, credit, particulars, amount, you will write everything. And then you don't have time to write the answer there. Will they give marks for the table? No. So first focus on writing. At the end, you draw lines. Because even if you don't draw lines, you will get some marks. But your answer is incomplete without drawing lines. But when it comes to BCR, it is not compulsory for you to write letter in the form of inside a box. It is okay if you start with a nice margin, keep some margins ready. Don't cover the entire page. Just some one arm distance in one finger distance in both the sides. Write normal. Don't bother writing, wasting time in writing boxes or putting lines in BCR paper at least. They will not focus on that. Because here they're focused more on how you can articulate well, how much grammar you know. So this is what is the focus on. They're not bothered about the presentation skills, the diagram, etc. Diagram is only important in first chapter where you'll have to explain the types of networks and others with the help of a diagram. Yes?
Yes.
Vaishnavi?
Sir, in letter writing, do we need to write the salutation above the subject or below it? Because in the material, they have given both the way.
Okay, so usually the generally accepted part is when it comes to letter, you will say from, date, to, then you will say dear sir, then you will start with subject. This is the traditional way of writing a letter. Stick on to this one. In email writing, it will be ulta because the format of email is such a way that say to CC, BCC, then subject will come first, then the body starts. You will say dear sir and start directly. But when it comes to letter, it is ulta. You say dear sir, then subject, then start with this is with reference to what, or I'm writing this letter to inform you what. Then you start with this like this.
Sir,
Yes.
in email writing, we know like it's not necessary that from should be the first. It can be in last also, right?
Email writing.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can actually start with from only because when you write an email, when you write it says when you compose an email it says to. It starts with to. Yes.
Yes.
But when you write the format, you can say from to and start writing. No problem there.
Okay, sir.
But when you present it in a way, when you send a mail, you'll start with to. But it's better you start with from and to because
Okay.
they now know that you know the entire format.
Thank
We
you.
got one chat from someone. Sir, I didn't understand about press C. Do we have to count each lines? So quick revision in 30 seconds. What is press C writing? A paragraph of 100 words would be given. Let us say in 7 lines. What will we do? We'll have to summarize or convert or condense that passage into 1/3 of what is given there. What are the techniques we use there? Avoid examples, avoid stories, avoid detailed explanations, keep it crisp and short, right? That doesn't mean you use half phrases. Complete the sentence, but don't have long sentences. Yes. Now, the approach I told you was when you know that one line in the question paper is of, let us say, 7 words. In the question paper, or let us say 7 words are there in one line. There are 7 lines in the, or 10 lines in the question paper. So what does that mean? 7 lines in one, 7 words in one line, 10 lines. Total of 7 into 10, 70 words there. If you have to write a press C, you will have to convert it to 1/3. So what will you do in that case? 70 divided by 3, which comes up to how much? Almost 23. 23. Am I right? 23 point something. You will have to write it in 23 words. My point was, will you start writing the press C and say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12? No. What I was telling is, in your answer paper, write a line. I mean, not in the answer paper, in the exam. When you practice at home, write one line and see in your line how many words would fill in. You may fill in only 5 words, for example. You may fill in only 5 words, right? How many words are to be required to be written there? Let us say 25. You are supposed to write 25 words. In one line of your book, you will write 5 words. So in how many lines will you finish? 5 lines. 5 words in each line. You are supposed to write 25 words. So 25 divided by 5, you get 5 lines there. This is how you mark for your reference. Yes, that's why I told you when you practice 1 or 2 press Cs at home, you will get this grip. My point was, don't sit and count the number of words you write. Once you know, check the previous year's question paper. Take press C writing itself and see the passage given there in one line. How many words are there? In your book, how many words can you finish in one line? As soon as you see the paper, in 10 seconds, you can do the calculation. You can start writing it. right? That is how you will save time. The time which you saved here, you can use it to write other questions and score marks there, right? So keep this point in mind. Okay, anything else? Is Rajdeep sir here on call? Yes, he is there. So if there are no more doubts, I will not give you general gyan about how to approach questions because Mehul sir has anyways done it and Rajdeep sir will anyways do it. So let me not bore you by repeating the same thing. I think Rajdeep sir will take over now. He will give you general suggestions about approaching the exam as well as attempting law part. Okay, thank you and all the best. Once you are done with law, don't tell anyone how well the paper was, just ignore. Focus on the third paper. Clear with that? With that, all the best to all of you. I know all of you will pass. How much will you score in BCR?
Out of 40.
Yes, that's the confidence, but don't be overconfident as I mentioned. Don't think just because I'll score 5. Anyways, I'll score 40. Why should I study? That shouldn't be your attitude. Focus on getting 40. You will get 35 at least, right? With that, all the best to all of you. Over to Rajdeep sir.
Thank you, 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 all of you all. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, all of you all. I have
Good
hardly
evening.
6 or 7 minutes. I know you all have been listening for the past 1 hour, and I hope you all have done well in your accounts paper. Okay. When I was in my college, there was my teacher. He used to tell us a story. So I want to tell you the story. I don't know if I've told this in your class, but I'll tell it to you because it's very important for business law. See, there was this jungle in which there was a peacock and there was this bull. Now, this peacock, no, it can't fly much, right? So it used to feel very irritated because it can just jump to one branch, it cannot go up. So it went to its friend, the bull, and he told the bull, see her, I want to fly up. See, this big tree is there, I want to go up the branches, but I can't fly up. So the bull said, see here, the problem is peacock, you're a little thin and you're a little weak. What you should do is, I leave this dung, my excretion is there, my dung is there. So if you eat that, you'll get proteins and nutrients, and that will give you strength to jump up the branches. Peacock said, okay, but should I eat dung? He said, yeah, eat dung, it's very good. I'm telling you. So this peacock said, okay. So the bull left the dung, like cow dung, like that bull dung. It left the bull dung on the first day and peacock ate and it got strength and it jumped up to the first branch of the tree. So it got strength. It felt very happy. So the second day the bull left the dung, it ran and now it got more strength. It jumped to the second dung branch. Then it third day, after 1 week or 2 weeks, it got so much strength, it jumped to the top of the tree. On top of the tree. When he jumped on top of the tree, there was a hunter who was going back. He saw the peacock and he shot it and the peacock took the peacock with its feathers and went off home. Now the moral of the story is that bullshit can take you on top, but it can't keep you there. Correct, no? Yes or no? So
Yes.
if you try and bullshit in your paper, right? If you try and write some section instead of some section, it's not like business studies of your second PUC, or it's not like any theory subject where you can tell anything, because business laws are very, very specific. Yes or no? Right?
Yes, sir.
What's right, Tejaswini? What's the moral of the story?
So we need to be specific.
Yeah. About bullshit, huh? No.
Knows about
Yeah.
right.
Writing. Yeah. You should not bullshit. If you bullshit in the paper and if you write all rubbish, then the marks you'll get will be bullshit. Okay. Correct? So be very, very careful about this. Okay. Now, when I did the R2C session, we discussed in detail, and may also might have given you all know the format of the paper. There are 5 questions. You know your business law 60 marks and your BCR, business correspondence and reporting, is 40 marks. So you know that out of the 60 marks, there are 6 questions which are given and you have to answer any 5, right? The first question is compulsory. What the first question is?
Compulsory.
And the remaining 5 questions, you have to answer any 4. So you have only a choice of 1 question. Now, the first compulsory question you'll all know is generally, if you'll have gone through the previous papers, it's generally Contract Act, Sale of Goods Act, and Companies Act. Rarely they give you Partnership Act. Never they give you Limited Liability Partnership. So be very, very specific that you study the Contract Act, Sale of Goods and Companies Act, because that comprises majority of your paper. Second thing is, after you have attempted the question 1, the remaining 5 questions you have to answer 4, and I've told you, you be very careful in choosing those questions, because sometimes there are questions, and I told you out of these 60 marks, approximately 25 marks is what? Case studies. What they are? Case studies. So if you are going through the questions, see the questions which you think you know the answers to first. Always the person who's correcting your paper, the first impression is always the best impression. Because see, when you're writing the paper and if he knows that the first answer itself is very shabby and not correct, it doesn't paint a good picture to the person who's correcting your paper. So please be very, very careful in choosing the best questions first. Choose the questions which you know. If you're not comfortable with writing case study and you don't know the case study, attempt the theory questions. What are the essentials of a valid contract? What is no consideration, no contract? What are the exceptions to the rule? Do those questions and see those questions whether the marks. See, generally each question is 12 marks. So out of those 12 marks, there will be at least 1 case study. If there's a case study of 4 marks or 5 marks in one question and only 3 marks in the second, choose the one with 3 marks. If you're not comfortable with case study, if you're comfortable with case studies, do the ones which are more important, right? So see that. Your limited liability partnership, as Mehul might have told you, is only 5 marks. So there's only 1 5-mark question in the whole paper. So limited liability, and generally those questions are repeated. So if you go through the question paper, you'll come to know that. Coming to Contract Act and Sale of Goods Act, the part which I did, I'll just go through the units one by one. The first one was Introduction to Contracts and Offer and Acceptance. I hope you'll remember it. What was important over there? Essentials of a valid contract, those under section 10, those are which are not under section 10, right? Types of contracts, expressed, implied, all that, right? Offer and acceptance, essentials of a valid offer, essentials of valid acceptance, revocation of offer and revocation of acceptance. Chapter 2 was consideration. In chapter 2, consideration, unit 2 in the Contract Act, the 2 most important aspects which you have to learn is, one is, what are the exceptions to the rule? No consideration, no contract. If you remember, natural love and affection, time-barred debt, gift, agency, charitable trust, all that. And also, when can a stranger to a contract? Remember, we did stranger to consideration and stranger to contract. So when does a stranger to consideration become a stranger to the contract, or exceptions to the rule of the doctrine of privity of contract? Chapter 3, Unit 3 in Indian Contract Act, if you remember, was the most important chapter because it has multiple essentials rolled into one. Other essentials of a valid contract: capacity to contract, Moiri Bibi versus Dharmodas Ghosh, minor, people of unsound mind, people specifically disqualified by law. Then we had all the legality of object, agreements opposed to public policy. Also, you did a very interesting thing, which was free consent, section 15, coercion, section 16, undue influence. Remember, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, 21, and 22, right? Mistake, undue influence, mistake, and misrepresentation, fraud. And that chapter is really important because it's one of the longest chapters in the Contract Act, and a lot of questions and case studies come from there. Unit 4, 5, and 6 were very, very small. Unit 4 was, I think, so performance of a contract. So what's the difference between performance of a contract, attempted performance, tender? Please go through that. Unit 5 was breach of contract. What is breach of contract? What are the remedies for breach of contract? Damages, types of damages, injunction, specific performance, all those aspects. So please go through it. And the last chapter was also quite important. So chapter 3 and chapter 6 are important. Contingency and quasi-contracts, right from section 67, 68, 69, all the different types of quasi-contracts, and we did contingent and wagering agreements. Now, remember, both in Contract Act and Sale of Goods Act, generally among the questions, they will ask you what differentiate between undue influence and coercion, differentiate between sale and agreement to sell. So please go through the differences properly, especially the theory part. I'll come to the cases just a little while. In Sale of Goods Act, chapter 1 was meaning and essentials of a sale of goods. So the important part of that was what is a contract of sale, essentials of a contract of sale, goods, what are goods, different types of goods, ascertained, unascertained, specific, ascertained goods, and also difference between sale and other types of contracts, sale and bailment, sale and hire purchase, okay, sale and contract of work and material. That was chapter 1. Chapter unit 2, just gonna switch it off. Unit 2 basically was conditions and warranty. This is again one of the most important chapter for the Sale of Goods Act. Just like chapter unit 3, that is other essentials of a valid contract, was important for the Contract Act, conditions and warranties are very, very important, including the case studies. So what are conditions, what are warranties, implied conditions, implied warranties. Remember, condition as to title, condition as to description, sale by description, condition as to sale by sample. All the cases, I hope you remember, Wally versus Whip and all the different case laws which I did, Roland versus Deval. Please go through all of them, okay? Unit 3 was the delivery of goods and performance of a contract. So we understood the different types of delivery: actual delivery, constructive delivery, symbolic delivery. When does the property and goods get transferred from the buyer seller to the buyer? And unit 4 was unpaid seller, rights of an unpaid seller, right against the goods, right against the buyer personally. So these are the 4 units. Okay, so I've just given you a brief of what is there. Now, the important part which I told you is when attempting a case study. What did May also tell you? What are the 4 parts which you have to write? When I told you facts of the case, provisions of the law, analysis, and
Conclusion.
conclusion. So mention the facts of the case in 2-3 lines. Mention provisions of the law. When you're mentioning provisions of the law, if you don't know the section, just leave it. But provisions of the law also includes case studies. And I've done many case studies with you, right? With their names, Taylor versus Portington, Hadley versus Baxendale. Please, at least when you're doing the provisions of the act, if there's no case study supporting it, leave it. If you don't remember, leave it. But when you're writing the facts of the case, you'll say this, provisions of the law as per section so-and-so, and as per the case decided in Moiri Bibi versus Dharmodas Ghosh, or as per Hadley versus Baxendale. Then you'll do the analysis, what you think is your result, and then give the conclusion as to what is the analysis of the case. So please follow this format. For the theory questions, I've already told you the format is your OBC. Give an opening statement, your body, and your conclusion. So you start off, if they ask you essentials, don't start away, write 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? What is the meaning of contract? Learn the section 2H, 2E, 2B. Then give all the essentials of the valid contract, and right. Always, as every person said when I told you, when they correct your paper, there are 3 skills which they test you on: your content skills, your organizational skills, and your language skills. So out of a, let's say if the question is 5 marks, 3 marks will be for your content, 1 mark is on how you've organized the answer, and 1 mark is for language. It doesn't mean that you have to have 5 prime, but always make it neat. Correct or no? Don't save money of the CA Institute by you'll put 1 question and there are some 3 lines left for the end of the page, and you'll start off with 1 line for question 5 and all. You have paid the money for the exam, start in the next page. It doesn't make much of a... Don't crowd up your answers and make it easy for the examiner to read your answers, because as I told you, invisibly there is an impression on the way in which you have presented your answer. Well, content is first, but always organization, sometimes there is a what do you say, there is a bias for people who have good handwriting, but I'm not talking of good handwriting, but just do that, right? So these are the important aspects which I told you for the... Any questions you'll have? because we have really run out of time, and I know you all are really. Hi Tejaswini, what was the accounts paper? Was it tough, easy?
It was reasonably good, sir.
Okay. What about others? Vaishnavi, Viksha?
Sir, it was reasonably good.
Good. Then don't have to worry. So even if it's not, all of y'all, I always tell this, whatever has happened has happened. You cannot go to the past and rectify it. So if you have done well, if you have done badly, forget about it, right? Remember, I used to tell you, yesterday is a cancelled check. You cannot cash it. Tomorrow is a promissory note. You cannot rely on it. But today is hard cash. Spend it. So today is what you have in your hand. If you've done badly, you've done well, that is all the past. That's what you have in your hand is the next 3 papers, right? So there's no point in brooding over whatever has happened. This paper you all will do well, and any doubts you all have or anything you want to ask relating to the subject or anything. I can't see the chat if you all are writing, otherwise I'll done. Is it okay with you all? Anything? So anyway, all the best, all of y'all. Do well in your paper. Also remember one more thing I want to tell you. It is very, very natural to feel tense when you're writing the paper. So don't curse yourself and judge yourself that, sir, when I wrote the accounts paper, my hands were shivering. I went to the exam hall and I was getting scared. You will get scared. If you don't get scared, you're a psychopath. Correct or no? People who don't get scared of anything are people who will do cold-blooded murders, right? So you will get scared, your heart will beat fast, your knees will shiver. Sometimes when you write the paper, you will feel nervous. It is absolutely normal. Don't worry about it at all, right? But the point is, if you start worrying about fear, the fear of fear is called panic. What it is called? Panic. So don't panic. It doesn't matter. Let the fear come. It will come. It will go. Close your eyes. Relax for 2 seconds. Take a deep breath. It will go. Because there is a very famous saying, when you face fear, fear goes. When you avoid fear, fear grows. What? When you face fear, fear
goes.
when you avoid fear, fear
Gross.
Gross.
You will feel nervous. Your heart will feel very. Some people get it in their stomach. I used to get, when I used to write my exams. Oh my God, you don't even know. And I have a topper. Okay, I've got MCom gold medal, BCom rank. PUC I didn't get rank because there was some stupid mix-up in my business studies paper. I got 578. I got 100 in all 5 subjects, but in 78 I got in business studies because one part of my paper was not attached. Otherwise I would have got a rank. Okay. So I missed the rank and I cried so much, but you can't do anything about it, right? But I'm a rank holder and I used to get so nervous while writing my paper. Before my paper, I used to feel, my stomach is going to burn. I'm going to vomit. But the whole thing is stay put, let the fear go, close your eyes, grade your fear from 10 to 1 and it will go. So all of y'all who are thinking that, why am I getting so scared? It's not you're getting scared. The whole world gets scared. The whole world gets
Scared.
nervous. Okay. So don't worry about it. Don't take too much. Those who are not getting worried, you all are blessed. You all are very lucky people. Understand? But those who are not, it's okay. Absolutely okay. So face the fear, do the paper well and get ranks for CAPS. And I will see you in your intermediate, right? So God bless you. All the best. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay?
Thank you,
Thanks.
sir.
Thanks a lot. Bye. Bye.